Ever get like really frustrated when someone just doesn't meet your expectations? Like, come on, why can't they just get it right?
Oh yeah, we've all been there.
But today, we're going to dive into why that happens. And more importantly, maybe how to let go of that need for perfection in others.
Sounds familiar.
And yeah, maybe even in ourselves. So to really understand this, we're going to look at the power of forgiveness. You know, embracing that everybody makes mistakes. It
Sure.
can actually help us build stronger relationships, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, so for this deep dive, we're going to unpack a podcast transcript. It's called Why Should We Allow Imperfection? The Power of Forgiveness and Human Error.
Okay, I like where this is going.
Yeah.
Challenging that whole idea that people should always be perfect.
Right. And this idea from the transcript really grabbed my attention. It says, no human work is perfect. Seems so obvious, right? But when you really think about it,
It's actually kind of profound.
exactly. It
Yeah.
really is a statement about like every single person.
And it's not limited to, say, just art or creativity. It's even in science and math.
Well, hold on. Science and math. You're talking about like precision, right? Getting things exactly right.
You would think so. But even those fields, there's this built-in acceptance of a margin of error.
I never thought of it like that.
Yeah. So, for example, for a new drug to be approved, it needs to be effective, but it almost never has a 100% success rate.
Interesting. So instead of being perfect, it's more about hitting a target range.
Yeah, exactly. And we see this in the business world too, right? Profit and loss, bankruptcy. They all show that risk is just a part of doing business. No plan is foolproof.
Okay, but this is where it gets tricky. We accept those imperfections in products, systems, like a lopsided cake or a phone that glitches. But when it comes to people,
We totally hold them to a different standard. Yeah.
yeah, like why is that?
That's the double standard, right? We're okay with imperfections in things, but not in people.
It's funny you say that because uh, I had this mentor. I really looked up to them. Super successful, had it all figured out.
I know the type.
Yeah, and then they made a mistake. Nothing illegal or anything, but their reputation took a hit. And I was floored, like betrayed almost.
The classic idealization problem. We put people on pedestals, forget they're human, with strengths and weaknesses, just like us.
And the transcript makes a great point. When we say, I would never have done that, we're usually ignoring that we all have strengths and weaknesses.
Totally. We're assuming we'd handle things differently, but we can never really know that. We only see our own limited perspective.
So if imperfection's everywhere, why is it so hard to extend that to people, especially those close to us?
I think the answer lies in forgiveness. Forgiving others, but also forgiving ourselves. The transcript actually uses this analogy. It talks about God's unconditional love. Like that's how we should be with others.
Okay, that's interesting. So we should try to like love people even with their flaws, just like I guess we believe a higher power loves us unconditionally.
Exactly. It doesn't mean we have to be okay with bad behavior or anything. It's more about remembering that everyone's human. People make mistakes. Those mistakes don't have to define them.
Right, it's not anything goes. It's more like seeing those mistakes as part of life. We're all works in progress, right?
Totally. And that's where forgiveness comes in. Really, when we hang on to that anger and resentment, it doesn't punish the other person. We're the ones hurting.
It's true. Like carrying around this weight that keeps us from moving on.
The source actually says it like this. Forgiveness, it's more about our own peace of mind than about the other person.
So it's kind of like a selfish act, but like in a good way, obviously.
Uh-huh. I like that. When we forgive, we're letting go of that negativity. We can be lighter in our relationships.
Yeah, with that lightness, I guess we can be more compassionate, more understanding.
For sure. Let's be honest. Nobody wants to be in a relationship where they're always afraid to mess up.
Oh, absolutely. That fear can be paralyzing. It stops us from taking risks, trying new things, even being ourselves, really. We're so worried about being perfect that we hold ourselves back.
Right. And that fear, it really blocks growth and real connections. To be close to someone, you got to be vulnerable. That's how we really connect.
So for our listeners out there who are struggling with this, how can we start allowing imperfection into our lives?
I think the big takeaway here is embracing imperfection in us and the others. That's crucial for healthy relationships. And finding inner peace, too.
So it's about like a change in mindset, not seeing mistakes as failures, but as chances to grow and learn.
Exactly. Those imperfections can teach us so much about ourselves and the people we care about. It's a big shift in how we see things, but it's so freeing.
Yeah, because when we let go of needing to be perfect, we can have those real connections, be vulnerable, and have fulfilling relationships.
Absolutely. And this question from the transcript, it's pretty powerful. How might shifting your perspective on imperfection change your approach to a relationship that's currently challenging you?
Wow, that really makes you think. It makes me think about relationships where I'm holding on to resentment or hurt because I guess my expectations weren't met.
Yeah, it's asking us to consider, what if we let go of those expectations? Could it open up new possibilities for healing and understanding?
So it's not about ignoring hurtful actions, but letting go of those negative feelings.
Exactly. And maybe by doing that, the whole relationship could change in ways we never expected.
Yeah, it's like we're loosening our grip on, those expectations, how things should be, and instead, like, opening up to something new.
Right. And in that space, that acceptance, you might find an even deeper connection than you thought possible. Because real connection, it's not about perfection, it's about those imperfections, finding beauty in that shared human experience.
This has been, wow, such an insightful deep dive. I have a lot to think about, especially with relationships.
It's been great exploring these ideas with you.
And to our listeners, thanks for joining us on this journey. We hope this deep dive has helped you see the beauty of imperfection in yourselves, in others, just in life. Letting go of that need for perfection, well, it can lead to deeper connections, more compassion, and a lot more peace. So until next time, keep diving deep.